in the Facebook and YouTube channels.
Big area of the game now. Obviously, South Africa coming off a defeat against Argentina. Argentina very strong in that department. England now need to hold up.
First scrum as well. Be really keen to get in low, make a mark in this 80 minutes. Masuku and Batha and Unclever Kanye against Adkins, Barbary and Street. All packing down the crouch, bind and set. Lots of chat in there from both sides. You can hear with the referee's mic. It is England's scrum.
Crouch.
Rush Tuima at the base of it, the 18-year-old, 19 stone.
That'll be a good battle with Horn opposite him.
Two really big
try
men.
Scorer. But as ever, it never goes to plan. And we just take a little bit more energy out of the game.
Just see the psychological. Every time they get up, there's the back rows and the locks are trying to pat the front rows and give them that impetus.
Let's go, guys.
I don't think either side has really done anything worth a pat on the back yet, but third time lucky as we scrum down again. Under this fixture last year, played it 6 ways. It was in May. A really physical South African performance. They won 26-12. Joel Kapoko and Tom Willis, the leftover players from that encounter. Big drive from South Africa. It's gone up in the front row, but allowed to play on. War gives it to Doherty, a fellow Sale Shark. Vunipola looks up, opts to go where there's space. Really clever kick that, forcing South Africa to turn. Here is Podgita, launching one down the pitch. And getting them not too far away from the halfway line.
That's good play from England, using Doherty as a first receiver. Actually looking to crash it, but again, Gus War doing well to get that ball out as the pressure came out from that South African pack. Ominous signs for England early doors. Good crowd here tonight. Want to see an enthralling game, a good game, an open game. But again, it'll be dictated by these boys up front.
Straight off the top, and War looking for that crash ball again. Doherty taking it up. South Africa, though, stealing the ball, and Hendrickse with the grubber kick through. Tester here for Morris. Looks to try and use his speed to get out of trouble. Step inside, there's 3 defenders around him looking to try and hold the Gloucester winger up. He's done pretty well there. All go short, looking for the power game. Atkins, the carry this time, featured in all the Six Nations games, the loose head prop.
Use it.
Very slow at the moment, not really much tempo in the game from either side, not able to get the quick, clean rucks going as Gus War finds touch, but we'll go back for another line out. Welcome to those viewers. A few technical issues early on in the game. Watching live coverage from the Butts Park Arena in Coventry. England under-20s against the Junior Springboks on englandrugby.com, as well as the Facebook and YouTube pages. Welcome along for hopefully an enthralling game of rugby here at the Butts Park Arena. South Africa in possession just outside the England 22.
Step back, guys.
Hendrickse to Richardson. This time we're really seeing South Africa try and move the ball a bit, that time not coming off.
No, it's lost.
All good so far from an England defensive point of view, not being breached, coming up with good line speed. The huge frame of mesh there, though you'd probably expect him always to get over the gain line if you're 6'6" and 19 stone. Hendrickse, England hand coming in there, knocking the ball on. Victoria's picking it up. Advantage on the play from Richardson. Hendrickse again. There is the frame of mesh. The forwards getting through a lot of work here. Buthelezi now with the carry.
Advantage over.
And there, the referee advantage over. Really clever hit there by Sam Spink, the Wasp man. Just lined his man up and then dumped him through. England trying to cause all sorts of problems at that breakdown.
Well, you mentioned it before, Nathan. It's England's line speed is absolutely fantastic, forcing South Africa eventually to kick, and they have been winning the kicking battle, but that's very loose to Morris.
Has to take it forward, breaks one, breaks two, wonderful from Morris, streaming down the wing now. What has he got? Steps inside again, looking for support. Didn't really have any lines with him, so takes contact. What can England work here? War looking down the blind side. Great break by Willis, England in here, streaming down the left wing. First try of the game, England go over, and a wonderful score from deep. Josh Hodge, the man who finishes it off. It was Morris with the initial break. From end to end, England go, and a really impressive stride from the Newcastle Falcon.
What a great finish. Again, it was sometimes just take your own opportunities. South Africa weren't up, and he was able to cut South Africa apart. Good recycle ball. Gus War going to that left-hand side. Couple of quick passes. England ahead.
The man who has just scored will try and convert his own try. We've seen from a couple of kicks tonight, there is a bit of a wind around this evening, and a difficult one at that. Watched him in the warm-up very nonchalantly, just knocking over kicks. It's low drilled style, and that is as close as you can get. When it gets through the post, called the inside rather than the outside from an England point of view, and it is a 7-point lead.
Yeah, he's got a good, strong left boot. Watch his real good touch finders. But this time he's using everything in his favour. Coming off that right hand upright just to get in, but that's a good start from England. All the pressure coming from South Africa, using the wind advantage, but again, just one loose kick, one mistake, England ahead. Now is the response going to come from South Africa? They've been pretty good, but I can't just finding it difficult to handle England's line speed. They're putting a lot of press on there and actually just getting in South Africa's faces, forcing the pass.
A really good restart by Chamberlain, lots of height on that one. Taken easy enough by Spink, one of those 4 debutants in the starting 15. Willis just tries to break a tackle. Masuku with the challenge on him, or taking his time. It's a huge rise to prominence for Gus War. He ended up in the Sale Sharks matchday squad in the opening day of the season, learning from a pretty good South African in Faf de Klerk up there in Manchester. Not a bad player as England get the put into this scrum.
Not bad at all. Now we'll see if England's scrum is a little bit better than their first effort. Again, it's so crucial. I know you do waste a lot of time resetting. It is a safety issue, but again, when a team gets an advantage, it gives them such a... Well, it is an advantage to the referee, because for the other side, there's no place to go. They don't want another scrum. The referee gets it in his head early on that South Africa or England have dominance. All England need now is to get parity, talk to the referee a little bit, get the captain in there. Willis just say, OK, so we just want this ball in and out. So, again, a crucial area of the game.
Not too far away from our commentary position there, and there already seems, as we're, 12 minutes in, a bit of niggle in between these two sets of front rows. Marcus Street just in discussions with the referee. Suku ahead of him, and Clever Kanye on the other side with Ollie Adkins, and I mean, barely even touched there, and we're resetting again.
Can you show me your shoulder, please?
Can you show me your shoulder?
He's got big shoulders, I can tell him that. Yes, sir.
Which one would you like? I'm doing my best, ref.
And Costa Kona, Masuku, Golden Lions prop. And he 2015 national champion with his school, Parktown Boys High.
Crouch!
South Africa, of course, producing so many impressive props on the world stage in recent seasons. Recent standing from the Beast, Tawara, and then Brian Majati back in the day as well, playing not too far down the road from here in Northampton, was probably the peak of his career. Hodge, the try scorer, trying to get out of trouble here for England. Bit of work to do with this exit.
That time it was South Africa's line speed, especially in the midfield. I'm not quite sure which centre came out, but all of a sudden Hodge was taken, and he puts his side now under pressure, and they can have to try and play out, because again, the win, there is an advantage with South Africa. So it's not easy to kick this ball out. All you'll be giving is probably 10 metres and a line out, so you just want to get your forwards carrying. But South Africa know this, and they'll put a lot of heat in, a lot of line speed themselves.
One more blocker comes in for War. Much better distance than his last kick, but as you said, Dow, there's not a lot of room there for him to work with. But
that's the game, really. You're going nowhere. You know, you're going to be chopped down in your own 22. South Africa, you wanted to drop a ball, all of a sudden then you give a put into the scrum. It's better take the devil you do than the devil you don't, in a sense. But South Africa now, one of their big strengths, the catch and drive.
Van Eerden with the take, the driving more set, low body positions, and Batha with the ball at the back at the moment. Now they try and use the backs as Pretorius hits the gain line. Hendrickse for Buthelezi.
Back. Away, back.
Saying to England, come on, you've got to try and stop us, and the result is now more pressure into the corner. England struggling, South Africa all over top of the ball.
England just penned in at the moment, really struggling to get out of their own 22. They've had that long distance score from Hodge, but all the game pretty much has been played inside their own half and inside their own 22. South Africa penning them in with the wind advantage, and England unable to get out. It's probably the third time we've seen that play.
It's the win-win, but again, it's in a percentage, it's the exit you've got to do. You can't risk moving this ball in. We're 15 minutes into the game. You've had a very good try against the run of play, in a sense, just one attack, one score. So yeah, you've just got to take your you're going to take your medicine, in a sense. You're only going to make 10 metres, and you're going to try and nick a ball, frustrate South Africa, because it's going to be their half as far as territory goes over the first 40 minutes.
Loose from South Africa in the line out, Willis at the back, and he's done well, the England skipper. What can England produce here? Vunipola with the show and go, then a beautiful offload to Tuima. England showing what they can do in the loose here, out to the back door. Just one offload too many there by Spink. The break by Vunipola, and then Tuima, lovely. And finally as well, a bit of territory for England outside their own 22.
Again, England, they're looking to impress these guys, Spink, Doherty, Powell, Morris, all these guys. Like I said, there's only 28 people that Steve Bates can take to Argentina. The likes of, well, Redpath playing on, he's on the bench for Sale tonight. You've got Marcus Smith, obviously will come. I think we'll feature Maunda. Oliver Lawrence is injured, he won't be there, but you've got Slater, you know, all the guys you've seen through the Six Nations. It gives the likes of Spink, like I said, Powell, whatever, a chance to stake their claim.
Chamberlain's attempted kick over the top, really well read there by Powell. And then the penalty coming England's way. War on the ball. I think he thought about a quick go the scrum half, but Willis just stopping him, so getting a bit of territory.
Well, it's all about managing the game, Nathan, is just don't take a quick tap. What's the point in taking a quick tap? You've got to almost take the clock down in the nicest possible way. Don't force it. Just, again, with this playing against the breeze, put it up there. That's a nice low kick. He's taking a 3-iron to that, isn't he? Kept it low in the breeze. Don't worry about that. Didn't hit it correctly, but his forwards won't mind. At least they're in South Africa's half.
They're in South Africa's half, and they have themselves a line-out for Barbary to line up the lost one. Wasps man even. She plays centre for his school side, blocks them, does Barbary.
I think he plays centre when he's playing hooker, so it doesn't really matter what side he plays, but he is a talent. Stevie Bates saying to he's one to watch, and he certainly is. I think he will be an international, full international.
That line-out just not quite going to plan this time. South Africa now with space as Abrahams will try and get round the outside. Hodge does just about enough to drag him over. Assistant referee has his line, his flag up.
Well, it's great handling in the midfield from JC Nell there, just to keep the movement going. The South African back row, Richardson, Buthelezi and Horn have already stamped their authority. And they know the way we want to play. They will carry the ball, the one-out stuff, but also they will give the ball some width and some air when they need to.
6 in the line for England, towards the back. Kapoko, the target. Kapoko, the man who takes the ball. Saracen now just trying to get some momentum on this maul. It's rolled round to the left. Stop first time. There's some white shirts trying to stop it, and Clubber Kanye, the prop, is just sort of holding on to anything he can. And now South Africa drive England back. Not quite going to plan at the moment, and very much not going to plan. South African forwards there doing a job on the England pack. Very good indeed. And I've got to say, I think it was Van der Mesch initially just got in, came from the right position, got through the maul, and then England struggled to get it back and actually held up. I think it might have been the captain, Tom Willis. And obviously, if it's held up in that situation, it goes to the opposite side, and they've done very well. England just ventured into their half. One mistake, they back down now under the cosh, and South Africa looking to make all this territory count and get some points on the board. You can hear there lots of chats of let's go. South Africa keen to just really get into the game, because despite all this territory, you said they've not really looked too dangerous with ball in hand or kind of any threatening towards the England try line. Indeed, it's just been kick into the corner and try and, well, they've had one sort of catch and drive, but it's came to nothing at the moment. Here they go. Free kick given, keen to get on with it. Pretorius just looks like a giant compared to Doherty, his opposite number, going for the kick again. And read by England again. There's boot of Chamberlain, not quite swinging into action in terms of getting South Africa going. Willis, so much ball carrying already in this opening quarter. Barbary in the loose this time, just having the ball ripped away from him in the tackle. And now South Africa, up come England. That ball just swelling around in the wind as they try to go for the big Hail Mary, and we'll go back for that South African advantage and a scrum to them. I think it was Mazuku, the loose head from South Africa, making the big hit that dislodged the ball.
Come back to the first.
I'm not quite sure what the referees... Oh, there's an injury, I do apologise. Hopefully not too serious. As if he was just heading to try and chat to possibly one of his assistant referees there. I think it is Connor Doherty is just receiving some treatment, so time is off, and
That's why I gave it a free kick.
just having a word to check on the that free kick. And it's been first 20 minutes, Darry, just I guess your review is that it's been a wonderful try from England, but apart from that, we've not really seen them get going. No, they haven't. Again, there's a different, there's a lot of different combinations out there. We go back to the point that Steve Bates are going to give these guys, even though they can have 12 rolling subs, he's going to give them 50, 60 minutes to actually stake their claim for the World Cup in Argentina in June. So things are going to happen with this advantage. South Africa have kicked a lot to the corners, but they've just taken their one opportunity, which is nice to see. A great break from Morris and a good try from Hodge. So they'll be happy with this, and definitely happy with this scoreline, 7-0 after the first quarter. One area of concern for the scrum, though, as ever against the South African side, you're never going to see a weak South African scrummage, and these guys will hopefully build up, well, from a South African point of view, build on it and put England under a bit of pressure and see how England then cope with it. Have we got a serious injury? Oh dear, we have. It is Sam Spink, not Connor Doherty, coming off, so the Wasps outside centre on his debut being taken off. It's a thumbs up for enjoying the camera for that little man, not for the injury. 23 is on, so Jack Reeves, the Gloucester 18-year-old, and he looks as if he'll slot in straight into outside centre as Spink carried off. Barney's there straight away. You get a diagnosis, get some instant medical treatment. Obviously the best in the business, and now this is a very intriguing right-hand side for the scrum half, Hendrickse. If he wanted to have a little venture up there, you got Horn 8-9 using the right wing
Bogita, who likes scoring tries. I think he got 3 against Argentina in a hat-trick, and he's a prolific try scorer if they want to do that. And on first evidence, the South African scrum's been pretty good. Todika at the back, Hendrikse, over to you.
Set!
Abraham's lining up directly behind the scrum, and that a big moment for the England pack. They've been going backwards during a lot of the scrums so far, but that a penalty straight away. And all the pats on the back, all the slaps on the bum. Good work from the front eight.
One for Atkins, Barbary and Street there. They went down pretty quick in a lump, did South Africa, but the referee's on there. I am no expert when it comes to scrimmaging. I've put a few scrums in my time, but I wouldn't ever want to play in there. But he's made a decision and made a quick decision, so advantage England on that one.
One for Mark Copley as well, the forwards coach, as part of this coach development programme with Premiership Rugby, along with James Gainsbrook and Richard Whiffin. And then that one just unfortunately with the wind from good to bad from an England forwards point of view.
Well, I don't know if much of the wind there, Nathan, because he actually fired that into a 2-jumper.
Trying to give him the benefit, eh?
Yeah, give him the benefit. I think it was Christie had moved up to
Let's go.
2 in the line-out. But again, all the good work is just undone by one little mistake. The hooker always gets the blame, by the way. It's never the other positioning of the line-out, but he's the one who does throw the ball in. But South Africa's opportunity once more. Can they keep this scrum up?
England's group later this summer in Argentina features Australia, Italy and Ireland, whilst South Africa probably a more testing one with Scotland, Georgia, and then ending their group games with New Zealand, who they did beat in the 3rd-4th playoff last summer to secure 3rd. England 2nd with that defeat to France in the final. Ball slowly making its way back to the feet of Franco Horn, who goes down the blind side, the big number 8. Actually scored a hat-trick inside 20 minutes against Georgia in a recent game. Real try threat. Big carriers. Vunipola just tried to rip the ball out the tackle there. South Africa through Pretorius, and big handoff, but well read by Doherty, who's marshalled the big centre pretty well so far.
Back.
The junior boxing really well to just stay in on that touchline there.
Not advantage. Go roll.
Entering England's 22 with the advantage and the penalty. It's Hendrikse and flying at Joel Kapoku then.
9.
And well, you're told to put the ball down as soon as the referee blows his whistle, but he was really unhappy with the Saracens' lock.
Well, the referee's all right with it. As a Saracens lock, he's very vocal. It is the Saracens way, isn't it? Shouting at people, screaming at people, especially if you're a second row. But no going for penalties here. Again, it is a friendly, well, friendly in words, not so much indeed. There's some big hits out there. I've been very impressed, actually, with Dylan Richardson, the South Africa 6. Well, he wears 6, and in South Africa, obviously 6, that's the open side. Buthelezi, you can see 7, he can play open side as well, but he's been everywhere. He's a good linking player. Now South Africa need just to put this in the middle, hold, and just like England, they lose it.
Lineout not been a particularly positive feature for either side tonight, and then after initially stealing it, there was an England handling error, so scrum to South Africa pretty much on the England 5-metre line. That's probably the closest they've been to the England try line with ball in hand. The box. What can they produce here? Playing Wales on Tuesday night at Vale Resort, just outside of Cardiff. Retried with their recent series against Argentina, Namibia, and Namibia 15 that was, and then Georgia. The Argentina and Georgia games both under 20s, just trying to replicate that 4-5 day turnaround you get at the World Championships, and again doing it here with the games against England and Wales, as Sheen Rue, the head coach, just tries to get his side battle ready. Just
having a chat with China before, and he was just delighted about the prospect of that Welsh game.
And here goes the big number 8 Horn, Franco Horn towards the try line, just short. South Africa looking dangerous, keeping it tight with the forwards. They go to the right, up and over the try line. South African power on show there. And Clabber-Kanye from short range saw a half yard of space. That's all he needed. just dropped over the line, and South Africa on the scoreboard.
And that all came from the skill of Frankie Horn. I said, watch out for him, he likes scoring a try. He nearly scored one himself. And when we see the replay of that, he is in the unorthodox position, as in he's got to pack down, but he's actually between the flanker and the second row, which means that ball comes from the hooker straight to his hands, and he's off. He's off like a shot, and I tell you what, it's an underused skill that some sides don't. They think they just have to scrum for scrumm's sake sometimes. Bumfie's gone, he didn't get there himself, but the big tight head prop that Labakanye did, certainly, and that's exactly what South Africa wanted, what South Africa needed. And can they make it 7?
And probably what South Africa deserved for all their territory is Chamberlain. You can see that gust of wind as his shirt moved, just coming from right to left, and he's scooped it up. I think he scooped that wide. The flags do stay down, so from what an easy-looking strike.
And that's the, we can't quite see Horn going off the base, but this is the reward for Horn's big drive initially. Unstoppable from there, but it's the speed. The number 8 picked that ball up, great skill. And again, exactly what South Africa needed. Oh dear, and that isn't.
JC now with the handling error there.
And I will use the phrase, the coach killer. You do so much good work, you get up there and all they've got to do with the wind is exit nicely, and your centre, it could have been anyone, just drops the ball and now gives England a fantastic opportunity. They've only had one opportunity in this game and scored a try. Now they're right in the middle of the field, on the 22. Access all areas.
England in pretty much uncharted territory for this first 40 minutes, just about inside the box 22. Always lots of chat. It's been a feature this first half an hour. Lots of chat before any scrum from both sides.
And as far as England need to do, they just need to lock it out. Just get the 8 in. That's what Gus Moore is saying. All 8 means flankers down, pushing, not flankers out, looking what the back row move is. It's basically get down and push and let the backs do the job.
Solid for England. War. They go down the blind side. Vunipola, the long looping pass. This time, Morris unable to really work anything with it. Africa coming through, that man you just mentioned, Richardson, causing all sorts of problems at that breakdown. War looking for Atkins as 2 players come in on the prop. Vunipola just trying to work some space in that midfield, but South Africa white shirts flying up on every England attack at the moment. Here they go again. So the kick in behind, clever that with the on-rushing runners. Hendrikse is lost. Oh boy, just I thought for a second he'd not quite read the route of play, but he's done well, the box number 9. Out to scrum half, they'll look for the big runners, and JJ van der Mesch certainly fits that bill.
Release back. Thank you.
And both sides adopting the rush defence, and I mean rush in the all intents and purposes of that word. England have done it superbly well. South Africa again forcing England to kick.
Hodge spins it inside for Morris, quite working out, and Jack Reeves first touch of the ball for the replacement, and then South Africa getting a penalty. Well, England their own worst enemies there from the kick, and an attacking platform to run into broken field. They've conceded a penalty on their own 10-metre line, and again, you mentioned coach killers, such frustration with that.
It is, and again, talking about the rush defence, if we go back up to the sort of 10-metre, 22 area above the South African side, when I think it was Vunipola to put that kick through. Again, there's so much power, so much heat coming from that rush defence that you get flustered, but really just reload with a forward. You don't want to kick the ball. If you kick the ball away, it's got to be for the right reasons, in a sense. And actually, Hendrikse did a very good job, went down on that ball, and the result is they can easily exit, easily get down. One simple mistake from England has given South Africa a chance for a penalty, and I thought they may go into the corner with this wind advantage because they're going to be up against it in the second half. But Hendrikse fancies is good. He was pretty good before the game warming up.
Low strike from the South Africa number 9, and Successful strike from him as well, as the Boks take the lead for the first time. And as you mentioned, I was watching him doing some kicking practice in the warm-up, and he was really, really impressive. So I was quite surprised to see Chamberlain knocking over the, well, attempting to knock over the conversion, but successful with his first strike of the evening.
But even so, if the score stays the same, I think Steve Bates and the coaches will be quite happy from an England perspective. Again, it's a very difficult scenario. You can't be exuberant, you can't be the Harlem Globe ball, you know, away out wide, the wide and wonderful game just for the sake of it. You know, you are purposefully trying to go through some strategic plays and actually adopt that when you get to the World Cup, or the Junior World Cup, as I should say, because you've got some intense games played every 4 days. Like I say, what you mentioned, it wasn't in Ireland, and you got Italy and then Australia. You've got to get yourself up for all those games. Not a great deal of rest time, but equally the same for Argentina. So play what's in front of you. And now play what's in front of you would mean, for me, this ball goes to 2 in the line out, catch it, drive it, keep it, frustrate South Africa, possibly go even closer, or possibly get a penalty attempt with 8 minutes to go.
Can Alfie Barbary produce here? Quick dry the ball and see how his radar is for this line. Kapoko up and just misses the man again. It was James Scott with the dummy run, and Kapoko just unable to get that Barbary throw as Hendrikse completes the South African clearance on high kick, and it was well dealt with by Morris. 2 players over him. England desperately trying to secure that ball. South African line almost.
Sorry, Nathan, but sometimes you can over-elaborate. It's almost, you know, Strictly Come Dancing stuff, isn't it? There, just get the ball to 2 in the line now, catch it. Your options aren't going to be wide outside for your back, so actually just take it down, try and get your setup going, and have a go at the South African line. But again, it's too much movement. Barbary missed 1, now he's missed 2, so all of a sudden the hooker's got that in his head.
Kick from Vunipola comes kindly to Hodge from an England point of view. Here is again Vunipola, flat pass, but lined up in the middle was Marcus Street. Bit of space for Tuima on the outside. First time I've really seen him in the loose. Good bustling run from the Exeter number 8. All go short now. Did better this from England, going through some phases and much quicker ball. Ball now, just getting around the park, getting to Rux as Kapoko goes up quite vertically there. Hit round the midriff, and there's some space in the middle. Barbary in the loose, gives it off to Tuima. England breaking down the left-hand side, well held onto the ball. Atkins with the run, the prop for the line, just brought down short. In come the England numbers, what can they work here? Looking to the blind side, they go around the corner, just short from Willis. South Africa hold him up. Now they need the ball, England. Barbary round it, looking to barge his way over. Buthelezi with the recovery tackle from the Boks. Bit slower now from England. They go around the corner again, looking to try and drive over the line.
6 away.
All tight at the moment. Now Wall with his hands goes for the attempted dive through the ruck. The tackle came on him. It was read by War. I think he knew he had the penalty advantage.
He did, but that's not the most intelligent play from the scrum half. You're never going to score that. But again, a tremendous break from Barbary. He's missed 2 of the last lineouts, but like you said, he is an incredible talent. Centre and a hooker's body, and then good support from Kapoko. And England nearly getting over. If a little bit more pace from the loose head, Ollie Atkins, we would have done. But again, just not panicking. England had the advantage. Can they make this tell? This is, for me, the only 3rd time they've been in that sort of 22. They scored the first time, they kicked it away and lost it the second time. This is an ideal opportunity. You have to come away with points here.
Crouch.
Much less of the theatrics this time for this scrum.
Set.
England puts in 5 metres away. South Africa tries to drive. Tuima goes down the blind side. Tries to get around Hendrikse, tries to get the offload. Big appeals from England for the deliberate knock-on.
He could have a card here.
It's deliberate.
Yeah.
you've definitely got it going forwards, then it's deliberate.
So what was the last one?
As soon as you listen to the referee, as soon as you stick your paw out there, you've got to stick two hands. You have to. Nathan, you're absolutely right.
Deliberate knock on?
Oh, see. How many times has the referee? Thanks very much. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
But again, he knew it's a risk you take, but you've got to go with two hands. It's one of those. It's a reflex action. I've done it. You've done it. Everyone's done it. You stick your hand out. Oh my word! Because you're almost within 5 meters of that try, and anything within 5 meters, the referee is going to look at it really severely. And now South Africa down to 14. I don't think I'll let that much implication now so far, but they'll go for a scrum, probably put 7 in the scrum. England again still a great team.
Gasol just pointing at his wrist there for an imaginary watch even. He wants to get going, and England will want to get going with this man advantage for the rest of this first half.
Vunapol is standing at 10. You've got Doherty, who can carry up for you. With the new lad, Reeves is there. Again, opposites. The defence will be lined up. But again, it's what these England forwards can do. They just need to lock out, like I said, big on the tight head side, big on Marcus Street side to open that field up for Gus Wall. But they're going to go for an 8-man.
England getting the slight nudge there. It's given to the wing Morris. Trying to cavi through heavy traffic. Kapoku. Good drive from him. Now Atkins as South Africa come through. Legally, says the referee, the ball bouncing up and down everywhere. Comes to Atkins again for the drive over. What a try from the prop. Suddenly, from some loose play, the ball just ricocheted around. And then Ollie Atkins couldn't believe the ball came to him. Gathered it up, the Gloucester man, and had an easy trundle to the line. Second try for England.
Well, there was obviously not by Van Heerden, but I think there was a kick forward before that, and the referee said it was absolutely fine. Ollie Atkins didn't make the line when he was a recipient of a break from Kapoku before, but he's actually done it there. And it's not many trying times you can celebrate a loose head scoring a try. England will take that. Again, like I said, that's about the 4th attempt. They made 2 count, and they will be delighted against this quite effective breeze. Steve Bates and the coaches, like I said, will be very, very happy.
I'm sure he'll be happy as well, because Atkins was, of course, the man a few minutes ago who had that break for the try line. You don't expect props to be able to sprint away from 20 metres, but that time, to give him the benefit of the doubt, 7 or 8 out perhaps.
They're a new breed now, these prop forwards.
The Carl Sinklers and the Ellis Genges of this world.
My word, you have to be an all-court player. You don't have to put your head where you would be feared to tread. You've actually got to get around the park, make the carries, make the tackles, and then just be on hand to sprint maybe sort of 60, 70 metres. There you go again, Coach Killer. Score a try, give a penalty, give a scrum into South Africa, back on yard 22, just with a minute to go, plenty of time for South Africa to respond to that score.
Scrum to the box then. A winger down with Marnus Pekita in the sim bin.
Well, I would be putting Rikus Pretorius. I gave him man of the match last year at Worcester. And Chinru said it's lovely having a back row forward playing centre at inside centre. He is a piece of meat, I must admit, but I would be putting him straight up now from this scrum.
Well, there's actually 3 South African backs, if we manage to get to the wide shot, all just crammed around each other at the moment, around Chamberlain, and one of those is Pretorius. Scrum, first one coming down. You can see those backs, they're all in a, well, it was a sort of V formation a second ago. We're just checking the call.
Baldrick's got a cunning plan. It's the big lad behind. He looks about 34 with a beard.
So Chamberlain, JC Nell and Pretorius.
There you go.
Concocting a plan. First things first, though. South African scrum needs to secure the ball, and Hendrickse needs to get it out to them. Waiting for the put in to this scrum. good chunk of this first half. We've seen some scrummaging, the 3,000 or so inside the Butts Park Arena. If you're a scrummaging fan, you've been treated tonight. Towards back the feet of Franco Horn, and well, whatever that move was, it was being lined up in the centres. We didn't get to see it because England have themselves a penalty. I think it's a couple from scrum time they've won now, and as they kick to touch, that's the final play of the first half.
And I said twice before they'll be very happy. They were happy with 7-0, and they were going to be even happy with this. Again, it's for me, it's a 10, 12 point, possibly more wind, especially as your legs get a little bit tight in that second half. Vunipola will come into the fore, Wall will come into the fore, kick these England forwards into the corner, and it's advantage England obviously going into this from this first half going into the second.
And what have you made? There was obviously the Hodge try, probably the standout moment from an England point of view. The forwards have battled, they've been busy, but without particularly maybe impressing and really stamping their authority on the game.
Yeah, it's difficult. Again, sorry to go on about it, but it is a big advantage. And when you have an advantage, if you're playing against the wind, you just keep it tight. You know that you can't exit well. You can only probably put 10, 15 metres. Mark, I was going to say Mark Wallace, his dad. I played against his dad. Gus War just nudging the ball up. Not panicking with the ball, so you've just got to play your areas of strength. Just one out. South Africa, on the other hand, have had plenty of territory and position to score more points, so they'll be frustrated with that. And I think we're in for an intriguing second half. South Africa now are going to have to keep ball in hand, use their big forwards. Equally, it'll be the brains, the top 2 inches from the England halfbacks to kick into the corners.
Okay, we'll get at some of the highlights of that first 40 minutes in just a second. But of course, this match tonight, very much part of England's Pathway programme, trying to get the age grade rugby going throughout the whole of English rugby. Let's get a look at what they've been up to on the off-pitch activities, the National Performance Pathway. And this is an example of what is going on behind the scenes at England Rugby.
We're here in Cat's Abbey, just outside Cheltenham, and we've been here in this house, all 15 of us, doing a sort of Big Brother styled task where we go into a room faced with a scenario and we just have to tackle the situation, get an outcome and get something done. Hi sir.
Hi Ben, how are you?
Hi, how are you doing?
So one of the scenarios were asking the Assistant Dean of a university permission to go on to Australia for 6 weeks.
That's not an easy time because we've got all that coursework and then we've got the exams in that
I
period.
know it's not an easy time, but I think I've shown so far how organised and diligent I can be.
I was quite used to it actually, because I've asked my teachers quite a lot, can I go to like rugby commitments and stuff, and they've kind of been like, oh I'm not sure, school commitments and stuff, so I find that one less challenging. It was still challenging, but it was less challenging.
The professor was having none of it. He was just, no. Offered a compromise which involved basically me only being out there for half the tour. So that was really tough in terms of having to provide a suitable solution, appease him, but also at the same time standing your ground. So that was difficult.
But I feel like if I speak to him, and obviously
if you speak to him, like, that's going to really backfire on me. So
I won't do anything you want to do.
The other one was getting a woman back to work who'd recently broken up with her boyfriend, who happens to be my best mate. She would be very stubborn in like how she was, and very like emotionally tarnished about her relationship. So we had to really be on her side and to get like the best out of her and to make her come back to work, really.
I think you need to think of it as a rugby context. I think Claire is France.
It's all about just how you deal with different situations, different people in different ways. So you might speak have conversations with like the rest of your teammates in one way, and then having to speak to a coach or a selector or something like that, you just have to use different skills and tackle the problems differently.
I'm not great at adapting to different personalities. I think I need to work on that a little bit. I think just for the role play, it's quite hard to change like how you are with different people, like especially such in a fixed situation. But yeah, it's definitely a lot of learning taken from it, so I think boys are happy with it.
It's all good learning, and just learning about myself, learning about these kind of situations. I mean, you never know when you might get one like that in the real world.
Sometimes being a rugby player, it's quite a sheltered lifestyle. You're just training, you're just eating, you're just sleeping, and that's it really. So coming to places like this, seeing the lads from other clubs and like learning stuff you wouldn't learn out in the real world is really useful, and it helps just massively.
Just some of the things getting on behind the scenes at England Rugby there, and some of the under 20 faces that might be about in the summer for the England squad as they head to the World Rugby U20 Championship in Argentina. We keep mentioning it, and that's because this is a warm-up game pretty much for that match. England 14-8 ahead in the first half against South Africa. 2 tries. Let's have a look at some of the highlights, and it's pretty much the first one out of nothing. And well, we didn't get to see the break by Jake Morris, but Tom Willis and Josh Hodge with a simple run-in.
Yeah, it was the first bad kick really from South Africa. They pinged the corners, given the forwards, like I said, the carrot. One bad kick. We can't see Morris's make the beautiful break up to that point, but again, the captain is up there. Again, all he had to do is just pop that ball out to Hodge, and he ain't going to miss that. The 7 specialist, Will of the Wisp. He's got a fantastic left boot, and he's not got a bad right one either. And this is the South Africa response. A great break off the base of a good scrum. Frankie Horn almost getting there, and Labakanya, the big tight head, just doing again what South Africa needed. They responded. That's the break off the back, and then you just see the big tight head again. Hendrikse just popping out, one out.
I'll leave it to you.
Over
to you.
Exactly, but that's good communication from the scrum half. He doesn't over-elaborate. The prop forward wants it on the floor. He's actually going to pick it up. And this is England going for, well, they get the second try. It's a little bit fortuitous. The referee said it had kicked through initially. I know South Africa had given a knock-on. But again, Ollie Aikins was close to scoring about 10-15 minutes before. This time he makes no mistake, because again he's a little bit closer to the line out, no one in front of him, and you're not stopping the big tight loose head, sorry, from there. And England, like I said, have probably had 4 opportunities to score a try, and they did on two occasions, so that the coaches will be delighted, and England will be delighted as a whole, because the second 40 they have the wind at their backs, and like I said before, they will be pinging the corners, because there's no way, there's no point in risking rugby from 50, 60, 70 metres. Get down there, let your forwards do the job, and then up to your half-backs where you can attack from.
Still waiting for the 2 teams here at the Butts Park Arena. It's a little minis game going on the pitch at the moment. They're just about to pack up, so I don't think the 2 teams are too far away. But just before we welcome them back, let's get a word from the England skipper this evening, Tom Willis. He's been speaking about his rise through the WAS Academy and also playing for England.
Strong run from Tom Willis, just 18.
I think there's a fair few injuries in the back 5. I was obviously only my first year, so I wasn't expecting any call-up, but in the morning got a shout from one of the coaches into the office, and then they let me know I was on the bench for the weekend. And it was also my brother's first Premiership start, so it was a massive day for the family. So obviously get back in the change room, ring my parents, ring my family, let them know. Yeah, massively exciting. I got on for about 10-15 minutes. Managed to get my hands on the ball a couple of times, and no, it's sort of over in a flash, but no, very enjoyable. There's also some great number 8s at WAS, Nathan Hughes, Nizam Carr. I've learnt a lot off my brother last season. There's quite a few back rows around. Yeah, all very knowledgeable and know a lot about the game, so I try to learn a lot off them. I think that's been massively beneficial being at WAS.
Tom Willis there, just discussing his Premiership debut. Started last season that against Saracens. Brother Jackie mentioned 2 years his senior. Came on to replace him. Spent a bit of time last year at Rotherham. And also a bit of England under-18 skipper action. But captaining the side tonight, and that first 40, one of probably the standout players there, really impressive.
Yeah, he's again, anytime you can experience Premiership rugby, it is a level up from this. But again, the pathway's interested in it. We see so many internationals coming through this way, but equally they get the chance at a very young age, or a younger age than it used to happen, and that's great, because they're ready for it, and they learn from all those big names that was from Northampton, whatever you play, and rub shoulders with internationals who've got 40, 50, 60 caps. You are going to learn. You're like a sponge at this age, and it's how you develop it and how you use that knowledge. And someone like Tom Willis, just to the manner born. I just think he's just got it. He knows where to be, doesn't overdo stuff, and he's comfortable on the ball. So he's a good leader, and he'll find this half a little bit easier than the second and than the first half, because you've got that wind advantage. You've got the you've got the sort of knowledge that you can get out of jail. You can exit where you want to, but invariably sometimes they actually say playing with the wind can be harder than playing actually against it. So it's how you manage it, and this is what Steve Bates wants to see now from an England perspective. When you go to that World Cup, you've got very little time to, for turnarounds. You've just got to get yourself in the right frame of mind and get the job done. So South Africa equally will know that they're going to have to play with ball in hand, use their big forwards, get some territory, but there's plenty of pace out wide, which we haven't quite seen yet. But hopefully in the second half we will.
England will start this half with the player advantage, with Marnus Pohita in the sin bin. I think I spotted a number 17 shirt as well, Tabiso Mdletse, and apologies if, as Barry Morris had been mentioning throughout that first 40 minutes, there are 12 replacements for the two sides, so it could be changes on and off. We might get one or two names and shirts wrong, but we will very much do our best.
Won't be the first time from me anyway, Nathan, I can assure you that. But no, that's what it's a friendly, so hopefully now you will see the players about 40, I think, Steve Bates, and seeing what will give them 40, maybe 50, and after that we'll maybe seeing a few people on. I don't think we'll see all 12, but or 12 attempts at substitutions.
Just putting Kai Owen on for England as well, so the two 17s on for either side, and we'll try and confirm those replacements as and when we get going. Chamberlain, though, with the restarts for the junior box. England with this 6-point lead going into the second half. Hendrik Say went round the blind side, attempted the flashy inside offload. England hand came through.
The exuberance of youth. Start the second half, you just rip the ball, you're on the attack. I tell you what, I'll just try this miracle ball at the back. He'll learn. Have a look at that video, no need to do it. I love the way, I love the confidence to do it, but I think that the easier ball just given up, because they're going to have limited opportunities unless something amazing happens.
Side of the number 19 shirt there for England, so John Kapoku on for his twin brother. Saracens must have something in the water. The amount of locks that they produce at that academy is incredible.
How much game time do they have, though? Well, that's the problem, isn't it?
They've got the two Kapokus, a few ahead of them.
Yeah. There's a Toji there as well, isn't there?
There's a Cruz.
Yeah. There's a list. Zekeri. Better England. Much better.
A wonderful England scrum, forcing the South Africans back and up. And they have a penalty. Lots of noise, lots of pats on the back. That was impressive stuff from the England forwards.
So you say John's a better scrummager than Joel, then? There you go.
And possibly the introduction of Kai Owen, the loosehead prop from Worcester, in that scrum as well.
Well, it could easily be that. Olivier Zam has been doing some one-on-one coaching with these guys. The very famous Gloucester prop, French-born, was at Toulon and French international, and when you get one-on-one, they thrive. From someone with incredible knowledge, just maybe the shape, the different size you're pushing against, or whatever. He's seen maybe a tad weakness. He's been looking for that first 40 minutes. I've come on, and all of a sudden, it could be that. You never know.
Well, give the two replacement props actually just spotted the shirt of 18, Alfie Petch as well. So two new front row. Alfie Barbary with, well, the no-look pass to the gain line. Turn around, frustrated look at the referee who adjudged that forward. We're seeing the skills, though. These youngsters willing to play with the pass out the back from Hendrik Say and Barbary there. The no-look, if we can get a shot of that in just a second.
Well, the referee's on hand. He hasn't missed much at all tonight, has he?
England scrum last time, dismantling the South African back, and we're back to chatting about where the mark is, where his head is. He's not lining on here.
It is my bugbear, to be honest. We lose so much energy, so much time. I know I'm an old record when it goes on, but I would stop the clock. If a scrum goes down with the first time, you stop the clock until that ball comes out on the second, third, fourth reset. You save 4 or 5 minutes of live play. You would do.
Hendrik Say, good fizz pass to Chamberlain. Lot behind that, but Hodge read the flight of the ball well. Inside and out he goes. Spots half a gap, Hodge. The half break to War. England will need someone at scrum half now, but they need to get the ball back first. Hodge into the middle, Barbary to the line, Willis to the offload, but straight to a South African player. Barbary trying to hold South Africa up. What can the England forwards do here?
Well, all they need to do is just choke the ball and they get the put in. That's very good play. Initially good play from South Africa, intercepting that ball because England had a little bit of momentum going there, but Barbary and a couple of his mates came in, held it up. It's called the choke tackle. If you hold the ball up, it goes to the opposition side, even if you're taking that ball. So advantage England now, a great opportunity. Hodge making a good break from 15 and scored the first try for England. He's a will-o'-the-wisp player from Newcastle, Sedbergh School. We've seen hopefully an attacking flair now that England may adopt, because again it's nothing to lose in this sense, and they're all right, this is the game to lose, but actually in the context of things there's nothing to lose as far as preparation time for the Junior World Cup. So give it a go. You can get out of jail with the wind advantage. So go on, have a go.
Set.
War waiting for the word from the referee, and it goes. Tuima leaves it for War. Vunipola spins it wide as kicked through from Doherty. Got some interest as England racing through. Hendrickse always just about seemed in control with the bounce of that ball. And we go back for the 22 dropout. Well weighted kick though.
Yeah, but that's good play from the Shark scrum half there. Just well, covering back as all good nines should. They should just be in a sweeping role, getting across the back line. I thought England may possibly keep that ball in hand, but sometimes the kick, you know, it is the case. Defences think, oh, they're going to keep the ball in hand. The kick goes through, the grubber kick, and that unlocks defences. I'm going to say both of the defences have been outstanding in the first sort of 40 with the rush, adopting the rush defence. Whether that continues in this second half.
Chamberlain straight down the throat of Tuima when we have seen his frame get going. It's been impressive. Vunipola looking for options inside and out, pirouettes and spins, and just trying to find a gap in that line as I think the ball has been lost. Yes, it has, and South Africa, what can they do as Abrahams goes for territory. Hodge now with that left boot. Bit of a shank of that one from the England fullback. Has a look at his boots. They must be to blame. You've got to be good if you're wearing boots like that as well, haven't you?
Well, pink, blue, red, has just hit it properly. That's twice now he's done it. He can kick a ball, he can run, he can do everything. It's just one of those days. I'm sure the lads will be ribbing him about that. But over to South Africa now, at least you've got territory, you've got a line out, and you've got a catch and drive.
From the side.
Van Eerden with the take, and it's a brilliant drive, and the advantage on the play as well for the box. The penalty coming there. English just not saying themselves. Hendrickse with the quick tap. South Africa looking to get on the move in this half. Grubber kick through. Across comes Hodge again. The feature of his play tonight, just reading of where the ball is going to go and being in the right position to just mop up any trouble, which he's done there. As South Africa trying to come right through the back of the ruck legally. War under a bit of pressure. Tuima, the acting scrum half.
England forward just opening this up now for the I was going to say the exit. They don't need to exit. Give it the big number 8.
Barbary again. We've just seen flashes of brilliance from the England hooker tonight. Not quite hit the mark at the line out, but he's done 1 or 2 bits in loose play have been really, really impressive. As Vunipola now kick charge down. England eventually get the ball away, and that's worked out quite well. Abrahams having to turn in the black scrum cap, and it's going to just shot short of the try line from a South Africa point of view, and he's not managed to get much distance on that. It's worked out very well for England.
More than very well. Lucky in a sense, but again, that's what happens when the wind is behind you. Vunipola getting 1 charge down, goes back to Hodge. This time his left foot does work and doesn't go over the dead ball for Abrahams, and Barbary's got a chance to put this in straight.
First one of the second half for the England hooker. Checking the call with Owen. Into the middle, much better. Just looping it up and take it in the middle.
Yeah, just get it in, get it up, and get it caught. Simple as that. I know it's not as easy as that. There's a lot of time and effort spent into line-out play, but sometimes less is more, isn't it?
Willis breaking through the first tackle, looking to try and ride the second one. Options if they can come with him. The offload just unable to be gathered by England. Well, Willis again, how many times this evening have we said have broke the first tackle, and also he's either then managed to get the offload or freed his hands, and more good work there from the England skipper, just that time unable to finish it off.
But that's the key to the modern game, and even at this level, at under 20s, it's the ball carrying. It's don't die with the ball if you've got a chance, because you know defences are so claustrophobic, really very rarely can get through. But when you do, get your arms up, as you said, try and get that ball away, and there always will be support runners inside and outside. It's the communication skills, but Willis has been outstanding in that aspect, setting up the first try just in a supportive role, but so crucial in the modern day now. The back row forwards especially your eights, even though Willis can play there, he's playing 6 tonight. It's that ball carry, get over the game line, cause defences problems, cause defences to think again, and then it's up to the backs, half backs, to try and create some space for the outside runners.
Hanro Jacobs, the Sharks replacement prop on for South Africa. You'll probably be able to start spotting the replacements for the junior Springboks in their fresh white shirts. Not so easy in England in their change strip in all black this evening. Again, the first scrum not quite going to plan.
Just wait. Let's go again.
I do sort of feel for the referee, Mr. Piardi, tonight from Italy, just trying to control these two packs, because lots of chat. I'm sure very keen to get on scrummaging, but it has to be correct for both sides.
Set.
England keen to put pressure on the South Africa scrum, 5 metres out, initial shove, but right round the back goes Franco Horn. Good work from the number 8, made on that arcing run, good metres. Pressure on the kicker from England. Chamberlain with a pretty decent strike, in fact a very good strike. Got them outside their 22, but England still a chance to put some pressure on. Decent attacking platform this from just outside the 22.
Yeah, different game to 12 months ago when South Africa were dominant, catch and drive line out scrum wise. England have got the upper hand. And I think it has come down to the likes of Owen and Patch coming on. It's just they've scrummaged slightly differently to the starting props.
Scott off the top as the run from Owen. You just mentioned there. Bit of extra impetus. War now looking for runners. Vunipola, Hodge, England with the clinical hands out to the far side. Willett bounces off the inside. England go over in the corner. Just a check with the assistant referee. And we're going to go for the line out. So just for a second, some discussions from Andrea Piani. England so close there.
Time off.
South Africa just checking the call.
That was all about pace, Nathan, wasn't it? Just hit up the middle. Again, it was a bust up the middle, and it causes so much problems with defences. And then Ward bringing the ball back, Hodge getting on the ball. Willis, as ever, is on hand, putting the ball back inside, and just being squeezed out of that corner. But it's pace. Pace kills defences.
Let's have a look at that backline move. The first time, really, when we just saw runners coming round the back.
Okay, water out.
Vunipola with a bit of space to run into the England number 10.
Time back on. Stay there.
Box with work to do then. To the front they go. The easy catch. Now they look for the run in. Back down to Chamberlain. Scott putting him under all sorts of pressure, the Worcester man. And we're pretty much back where we started with the England lineup.
But it's at England's pace now. They should just make sure the communication skills are up.
6 and 7.
Have a chat with the hooker.
Number 6 and number 7.
I think substitutions from South Africa's point of view.
So Richardson and Physicality going off for the box. And imagine.
Okay, numbers, please.
Labashani. You can see the number 20, sir. Sangweni as well, I imagine. Another flanker possibly in there as well. Remember, 12 replacements, so not possibly the end of the 6th and 7th for South Africa as Tuiman takes it up the middle. War under, sniping, looking for Vunipola. This is how England very nearly scored a few moments ago. Morris takes it in this time. Kapoko, lovely soft hands, Vunipola around the back. Hodge with the footballing skills, just trying to gather the ball. Just unable to. And as he tried, I'm not sure if it was Hodge or an earlier effort there, which knocked that ball on.
I think in a perfect world, they just need to be a little bit flatter. England have tried that move now a couple of times, going hitting it through the middle and coming back to the sort of, well, it's not the blind side in a sense, but coming again back against the grain. But it's easy for South Africa to read. Just stand a yard, possibly. If you can get up a yard closer to that gain line, it gives defences less time to react. But again, it's all a learning process at this age, and it's what you want. You want people to try things. That's Jake Morris is down. Hopefully, again, not too serious. We've seen Sam Spink off in that first half. The clashes, the hits are big and physical as ever.
No points in the opening 40 minutes of this second half, but just as South Africa almost had a controlling presence inside the England half, inside that first 40, England the same. They seem like they're sort of taking control of this game.
Yeah,
as much as they haven't
there's
scored.
Almost a fear when you defend. There's only one way you can get out. You know, South Africa, as England did in the first half, they kick the ball exit-wise. You get 10-15 metres. That gives England a chance. Then, okay, we're in this territory. Apart from, you know, a breakout, that's going to be only South Africa's way, to be honest. And England, the way they've scrummaged in this second half, I feared for them in the first. They've turned it around. They've obviously had a word, and they've made things better and put a lot of pressure on South Africa. So, you know, we've seen Hodge having, Horn, the South African number 8, having to pick up very quickly from the base.
Here we go then. It's chat time. Translated into scrum time. For this game between England under 20s against their South African counterparts. England actually beat South Africa 32-31 in Narbonne in their last meeting in that World Rugby Under 20 Championship last summer. Usually pretty tight between the two sides, as it is turning out tonight. 6-point ball game at the moment. There's just some work for the Springboks to do here to get out of their own 22. We saw this problem with England in the first half with a few Gus Wall box kicks. That one a pretty clean strike from Chamberlain, but again, not great distance from a South Africa point of view, and they'll have some defensive work to do again.
England should be precise now. They know they've got the territory game sorted. They've got their scrum sorted. There should be training ground moves being called. But again, you just can't go wide and wonderful, you know, from first phase. I mean, it's not going to work again, especially against a South African defence as good as this. So possibly the forwards will have to just crash it in a bit and try and make some dents in that midfield. Oh dear.
Willis goes up, and the line out stolen at the front by South Africa. Hendrikse looked at 3 options for runners there. Ended up going for Sangweni. That's the tackle there from South Africa. Good hit back in defence by England. All very tight physical work at the moment from the box as John Kapoku comes through, and we saw this in the first half. We'll see it in a second. Again, deliberate knock-on, no real attempt to try and play the ball there from the replacement, and he's given his marching orders for 10 minutes.
Yeah, and you've got to say, slightly stupid. No need to do it. You've got all the advantage. Pakita got one in the first half and politely said to the referee, "Thank you very much." It was me. I did put my hand out, and Kapoko, that's the brother of Joel John, who will spend 10 minutes on the naughty step, because again, he was naughty. He's no need to do it. It's infuriating.
Frustrated shake of the head from his own point of view. I think he knew that.
Yeah, you're keen, you know, you want to do it, but this is again where you
Okay, wait.
Anyway, move on.
Here we go.
A line out to South Africa, and Batha just making sure he's got a space in that line to aim for. Towards the back again, not cleanly taken. And here is Barbary. He's a real all-action player and makes his presence felt on the pitch as the England hooker. Wall with the ball at that back foot. He's just hooked that one a bit, the England number 9. Yes, he has. And straight out.
But Gus Wall there, what he needed to do is just put another guy on the guard. It gives him extra second, and then he's not overbalanced or accelerating into his kick, because again, it's a procedure. It's almost like a setup in golf. You just go 1, 2, 3, you exit. And again, it's something he's got to learn. Just slow the game up. You are going to kick this ball from the base. Give yourself a chance. Put another guard man in.
Ollie Fox now taking over scrum half duties. The Yorkshire Carnegie scrum half.
More! 5!
I think Wall's done well. He's got his fizzing pass. He's got a good pass, good communication. Again, it's difficult first 40 minutes. You're against the wind. You're very limited, but he can be sort of happy with his lock. And we've got an ex-rugby league player on now in Fox. He's pretty quick.
Good maul that by South Africa, getting them up to England's 22. Well, as I say, good maul. Willis, I think the man under there, getting his considerable frame under the ball and winning England a scrum.
Again, good play. It's that ability just to get through that maul, get on the right side, talking to the referee all the time. He will listen to you. He will definitely listen to the captain. Willis knows that. And then if you get underneath the player, it will go to you at the defending side.
So again, a chat at scrum time. Franco Horn this time, the man in the referee's ear. I just heard there, yellow card still for England, down to 14 men. John Capocco, Saracen's lock, been spending a bit of time at Ampthill this season in National 1, but he's currently got just over 6 minutes left in the sin bin. First scrum of the game for Ollie Fox to put into the 20-year-old from Leeds. South Africa trying to get the initial shove on, as Tuima did really well under pressure from all angles there, the England number 8.
I don't know why England didn't have a flanker on this side. I mean, that's just mad. Tuima's done incredibly well, but surely if you've only got 7 forwards, you put the flanker. What you do. But I mean, I suppose you do. Of course you do. But England scramble their way out of that. Does he have no word? What's going on?
Let's have a blindside next time.
Yeah, please.
9.
I'm going to have 2 9s. Saneli Nahamba is the replacement 9 for South Africa. Another one I was watching kick during the warm-ups, and he had an excellent strike on him.
Okay, let's go.
Crisp white shirt into the frame.
Pocket rocket, I think, is the phrase we will use if he does get the ball in a bit of space.
Maul again from the South African forwards. They've had a bit of joy with this. Past few times they've used it, and they're getting some joy here, making meters, driving through the heart of England. Hard yards from the box pack, and then it goes down, but the ball is available to play. First touch for Nahamba. Around come the forwards, unable to be taken by Jacobs. Valense fancies a drive round the corner. Now Jacobs again, the 2 replacement props. That was a wonderful offload from the tackle to Horn. Now with the South African runners. First time I've really seen Pretorius get going in this second half. South Africa down the blind side with this man advantage, looking to make it work. Metch with the big carry, the big lock, and then Barbary with the steal. Wonderful work from the England hooker. Fantastic rip out the tackle and bundled away to make good meters. Fox going in to just dig down the rabbit hole, that time to work for the ball as Owen makes a breakthrough now. England with a bit of momentum, all from that Barbary rip. Fox, Vunipola, Tuima with space down the middle. Here goes the number 8, bursting away. Options left and right. Can he find any of them, Tuima? Yes, he can, but Hodge just unable to read the pass. The play all breaking up now as Chamberlain comes away. Hits on him from Vunipola. Now South Africa look and try and run the ball. Big pass from Pretorius out wide. South Africa looking to go down the wing, and Hodge throws his body at Pohita. Flat pass, looking for the ball, and the game just seemed to run into almost sevens. That
it's exploded, isn't it, in the last, coming into the last quarter. Like you said, the front row to the fore. Barbary, you can see why he comes with a big wrap. All action. The throwing in he'll sort out, that's not a problem. But I mean, round the park, and then Owens doing the same. Equally, Hodge throwing himself into tackle. Tuimu up the middle. Just great. There is a tremendous amount of talent on both sides. Well, we know that. And this is why I love the under-20s, the pathway for England. I'm not sure what South Africa, the baby box, the junior Springboks call it, but a lot of these guys will be full internationals in the next couple of 3 years. It's a great grounding for them, and what I love about it is this junior championship you have every year. It's almost like a junior World Cup. It is a junior World Cup, but I love to call it the junior championship, and it gives coaches niche a chance to have a look at what to try and test it path.
kick through from...
I think the satellite's getting excited.
Yeah, it was possibly from that explosive bit of England play. It was they're excited for this last quarter of the game. Barbary just drying the ball off, and he seems like a player. I know we keep mentioning him a lot, but he's been so all action that will not want to come off.
Well, they love him at Watts, the aided team. He's man of the match most of the times, but he just sees something in somebody. You know, he's that robust, aggressive, skillful. You know, everything that you need from a hooker.
And he's hitting his lineouts now as Vunipola launches a tester for the fullback, Abrahams. Thought he just lost it for a second there. Wonderful gliding run from the South African 15. Out to the tackle. Here is Sangweni. Back from South Africa. JC Nell takes on the ball. Bit of impetus now for the junior Springboks as England struggling to get back in the defensive line from this quick play. Metch takes it up, big carry from the number 4.
No hands!
And then a South African foot comes away, and Barbary fancies a break. Here goes Alfie Barbary. Always seems to be involved in the game in some capacity. Big kick from Hodge over the top, turning South Africa, and a wonderful kick from the fullback. We've seen a couple of shankers tonight, but that kick of the game.
And that's it, kick of the game, but that's the game in itself. Nathan there, just one mistake. Some lovely play from South Africa, just going up that left-hand side, just offloading, very good at skillful offloading, not forcing the pass, people coming onto the ball, calling for it, and then just one little mistake. Second row, unfortunately, getting his foot in the way, gives it to Barbary once again, makes 10-15 metres, quick ball, out to Hodge, and look at that, off his left peg.
And Batha, one of those who stayed on for the whole 65 minutes so far for the junior Springboks. Chamberlain didn't really seem too interested in the back line outside him. Boot to ball as John Kapoko comes back onto the pitch for England.
Well, no score. Normally you get a few points when someone goes down, when a team goes down to 14, but 14-8, it's just a 6-point game. Brotherly love.
And a nice moment for the Kapoko family as the twin brothers of John and Joel are lining up together. Yeah.
Okay.
Throw in to the line for England. At the moment, there is one Kapoko in, one Kapoko out. John is the one in the white undershirt. Joel not opting for that as the trick play from England. Barbary taking it through the middle with his offload. Fox looking for the England runners now. And here is Joel Kapoko breaking the first tackle. John just outside him.
Very good.
Doing the supporting play. England round the corner. Looking to go wide now. Here is Fox. Vunipola. Wonderful take in the middle. And it's a stroll over in the end for Conor Doherty. The inside centre hitting a wonderful line. Flat to it, grabbing the ball. And the first points of this second half go England's way.
Smash and bash from the forwards. Again, Joel Kapoko coming straight back on. Having a little bit of a rest and making a damage, making a dent, like I said. And then it's just quick hands. Defensively, South Africa a little bit weak there, but again, Doherty making the most of that straight through the middle, and that's exactly what England wanted. It a 6-point buffer, now that's gone up. And really, this game has gone away from South Africa now with, well, 12 minutes to go. Doherty could add the extra 2, but that's good play from England. Just biding their time. Good hands, good communication, but again, it just comes from the forwards. Running hard, running straight, running direct, and the speed of the ball to Ollie Fox. Get the 9 in with the ball in his hand as quickly as you can, and the outside backs can make things happen.
Hodge then with the third kick of the evening for him. 2 from 2 so far. Low drill, nonchalant kicking style from the Newcastle Falcon. It's given him a 100% record for this evening. England up to 21. A couple of scores away from the Springboks as we approach the last 10 minutes of the game. I'm sure we'll see 1 or 2 more new faces. Both head coaches, as we said, have all these replacements to work with, and a chance for some game time for both. Chamberlain, I'm really impressed with his restarts. The high ones just outside the 22, allowing his team to chase with interest. But England, pretty much all the time so far, have done well. Here's Tuima.
It'll be interesting now, Nathan, to see how they manage this last 10 minutes. Yes, they are 21-8 up. Yeah, they're in a saleable lead. South Africa, I don't think are going to come back into this game to win it. So how do you do it? Don't be stupid. Just do it now as if you're in the Junior World Championship. You know, you've got 3 big games to get out of those pool stage, and equally the quarter-final, semi-final, and then hopefully, from an England point of view, a final. So that's good. They haven't over-elaborated. They haven't forced the ball. They haven't forced their hands. You know, with the wind advantage given to your kickers, you make 40 metres. Very good play.
The boot of Hodge coming into play more and more. It's actually a double trap clay pigeon shooting champion with the Great Britain team. So a man who's got an eye for a target, and certainly in this second 40, he's been on song. Here go the South African forwards, carry from Mtlense.
But this is what's going to happen. I was just going to say, South Africa have to force it. They have to force their hand. And it's gone back for another fence just before that, so he's actually South Africa will have the punch of the scrum, but it's a tackling practice or a setup for England now. When they haven't got the ball, it's, you know, come and see what you can do. If you go wide, we'll use our rush defence. If you go through the middle, we'll hit you hard with 2 guys.
Keeping your shape, defensive structures, attacking routines for England to go through in this last 10 minutes as one of these sparse South African supporters in the crowd in Coventry this evening.
Well, there's 1 or 2. You can hear 1 or 2. They haven't had much to cheer about, to be honest, but it's been a good turnout here. There's big things planned for Coventry. Talking to a few people before the pitch may be ripped up and have one of those lovely cross-fertile, whatever they're called, 3G, 4G, 5G pitches or whatever, but there's big plans down here. Obviously one of the hotbeds going back in the sort of 60s, 70s, 80s of English rugby. Coventry Rugby Club produced so many fantastic rugby international players. Marcus Rose for one, and Danny Grewcock obviously came here, so again, it's nice. They've been slumbering for some time as things happen, but you never know. They could be back up in the Prem soon enough.
Joel Kapoko just receiving a bit of treatment at the moment. This is what the stoppage is for. Mind if you're just joining us towards the end of the game. Tries from Hodge, Atkins and Doherty have given England this 21-8 lead in the closing stages. Get a word from the man of the match after the game as well. So we'll have a think of some of the England players that have impressed him. And we'll get a chat with them at full time. Still 8 minutes for England to close the game out, though, and South Africa to try and finish with a flourish. Now Hamba just going round Horn. Flat pass to the scrum half. Nell coming onto the ball, just stealing a metre on the floor as Vunipola comes in and gets a foot in. Tuima. England looking to work it. Wonderful dummy there from the open side. Christie out towards his far side. Can the wing Morris finish? Two players come through on him.
He's done well to stay in, incredibly well.
Fox now looking for runners, finding them in the middle. In he goes again. England keeping it flattened to the line at the moment. And the blow of the referee's whistle. South Africa diving in over the top, just trying to slow down that England momentum, and in doing so conceding a penalty.
So it's strong at the moment in the scrum. Tend to go for a scrum. Everything just gets held in if you put them in the scrum. I think the way they're defending, that's the right decision. Vunipola will call the shots now from that, but again, these guys have done so well after being sort of under the pump a little bit in that first half. Changed a couple of props, changed everything around, bit of communication. All of a sudden, there's communication from Ollie Fox to Vunipola. Something's on out wide. And this could be it, this is the game. This could be the fourth try, and that would be the victory guaranteed.
Number 20 packing down there. Izzy Moore-Iono, the London Irish flanker, on for his debut as well. Big ball carrier, former centre back in his school days and coming through the Irish Academy. Space down this blind side for England, but with Morris as the ball just wriggles out of the scrum, and Hamba looked to try and race away for a second. Penalty goes England's way. Rather cheekily just threw the ball out of play there to slow England down, but penalty all the same.
Well, they go for another scrum. It just takes another minute and taking the clock down. I think that ball came out pretty quick, didn't it, before you can actually say, oh, so-and-so's doing this. But I'm going to say the referee's had a good game. He's forthright. He makes his decisions early. He sent two people to the bin for deliberately knocking the ball on, going with one hand. So, yeah, he's had a pretty good game. But anyway, advantage back to England.
And this, from a coaching point of view, that mindset of, as well as closing out the game, of course, bonus points a feature of the championships this summer. So a fourth try here. No bonus points tonight, but that is the territory we're in. England scrum going forward. Up it comes in the middle. Barbary passes opposite there on. We'll have another go.
When it goes up like that, the referee can't do it. She's got to reset. One of those things, but again, it's the clock's England's on England's favour now. England's friend in a sense. 5 minutes to go. Too many points for South Africa to make up, and England want to put this to bed.
Apologies for any language you hear on the referee's mic in the closing stages. Two teams, two packs keen to get on with the game. At the feet of Tuima as England rumble forward. Another advantage on the play. Fox just lobs the ball out. Back to this blind side. England come running across rather than forward that time as John Kapoko with the strength now. Here is Fox to the line. Has a dummy, wriggles through two tackles. Very clever work from the replacement scrum half there. England 4 metres away. Go around the corner. Kapoko, Joel this time. High driving position up towards the line, and then over the line. The try coming for England, and they just seem to collapse on the ball. I thought for a second England were awarded the penalty try, but it is Joel Kapoko who stands up, and the Saracens lock has England's fourth.
And that's good play from England. I did actually think, like he said, he's up a little bit too high, but he got the weight behind him. The players came in. It is Joel, not John. You can see there is Joel's come back on to partner his twin brother. He's gone over. England get the fourth try. No need for a bonus. It's only a friendly. It doesn't matter. But the scoreline will reflect England's dominance. Control in the first half, I've got to say, against the wind. Dominance in the second. Again, a few mistakes, but you can expect it when you get thrown together. Quite a few changes from the last side that played against Scotland in the Six Nations. I think Steve Bates, and like I said, the coaches will be happy with the result. Plenty to work on now. The headache begins. How do you cram all these players and all the guys that play in the Six Nations did so well? All the players that aren't playing tonight are with Premiership sides into that 28 for Argentina in June.
A nice problem for head coach Steve Bates to have as Hodge, 4 from 4, lovely clean strike from the England fullback. Nudges England up to 28 as we have a look here at the strength of Kapoko. The high body position, but he did really well to just spin and roll and then just wriggled under the feet, in between the legs.
Indeed, celebrating. He's got it down, and England have got this one.
So into the last couple of minutes, Dowie will just get as England drive forward. The thoughts, there's been a few standout performances, 4 try scorers, but who stood out for you, Dowie?
Yeah, I think Burberry, he would have been up there. Unfortunately, his arrows were slightly off. His carrying and his potential is boundless, to be honest. But my man of the match is Tom Willis, the captain, especially in that first half when England had to carry hard and carry well and carry controlled, and that's what he did. He led superbly well. Second half, he was about the field as well, so he is my man of the match. That's captain Tom Willis.
Now off the pitch, the England skipper will be amongst the replacements, but we'll try and grab a word with the England number 6 before we leave you this evening.
And you've got obviously coming to that World Cup, you get Ted Hill to come back, Aaron Hinkley, who I gave man of the match 2 of those games in the Six Nations. Plus all these guys you've seen tonight. England have talent in that back row. Well, they've got talent all over the place, but especially that crucial area of the back row. But Willis is well, he's there with Wasps, and he's played Premiership rugby, and he's got a great future.
Ben Atkins on for England as we head towards full time, but England not quite done here, in search of a 5th. Here is Christie taking it forward, the Saracens number 7. This time though, South Africa do their work at the breakdown, because England coming in from the side, and with nothing really left to play for, they went for the quick tap and go, knocked the ball on, and England knocked the ball on. Not quite the greatest show of skill from the 2 sides there from what we've seen in the other 79 minutes.
I think it's blow the whistle time, referee. You can see there's the frustration in South Africa. They know they haven't performed well. They didn't take as many chances as they should have done in that first half when they had the advantage with the wind, and that's credit to England's defence. I think to Willis's captaincy as well. So look, they've got plenty to work on. They're a good side, but they need these games. They've got Wales on Tuesday. We're staying the coach Chien Rao was looking forward to a coffee with Warren Gatland, and he jokingly said to me, "Do you think Warren will be coach of the Lions in South Africa?" I said, "At the moment he can do anything he wants, mate. Probably walk on the moon." But you know, it's good. It's all about getting some game time, getting your combinations right for that crucial Junior World Cup.
Here is England then, free kick from that scrum. Fox takes it quickly. Carried up by Rees. Fox with the pass to Ema with the offload. England looking for a 5th. The step inside, and it is he. Moriono on his debut has got England's 5th. A wonderful way to wrap up a very impressive England performance in Coventry. 5 tries, comfortable win, and a nice way to prepare for the World Rugby U20 Championships this summer.
Indeed, the proverbial icing on the cake again to Emu. He's not stopping him from there. South Africa for the first time really just falling off tackles. That's a great debut. Straight underneath the post, like you said, five tries, 5-star. Plenty to work on, but that's what you want as coaches. Time is over. This will be the last kick of the game, and these guys can leave it up to the coaches now, like I said, to pick that ever-important 28. They will have injuries, I'm sure, up until the World Cup or during the World Cup, so keep yourself fit, have a great trip, and have a fantastic tournament.
5 from 5 from Hodge to round off 5 tries from England. A really impressive night's work from Steve Bates's men. 2 tries in the first half, 3 tries in the second half, and with 6 debutants on the evening throughout the 23-man squad. A very, very pleasing results from an England point of view. against a team who will be considered amongst the challengers this summer in Argentina. England, you have to say, have maybe looked them quite ordinary this evening in Coventry, and so many positives, Dowie, from an England point of view.
Yeah, it was. Again, it's difficult when you're watching this to see the conditions. There is a big advantage with that wind. Sometimes it's easy, as I said, to play against it. England had to play against it in the first, and they did well. They navigated it superbly. Like four occasions, they ventured in 20. They scored on 2 occasions. That's excellent. So they took an advantage into the second half. Halfbacks did the job, and again the forwards carried fantastically with Willis particularly, and they deserved the victory. And like you said, South Africa is slightly off kilter, but again they'll take this win, and that's they're very buoyed now going into the Junior World Cup.
Right, I'm going to leave you in the very capable hands of Darry Morris to talk through over the highlights of the game, and I'm going to head down and try and grab Tom Willis for a chat after we've gone through these highlights of the England win.
And here we go, and this was the first time England got up. There's Gus Waugh popping the ball out, and this is what Willis can do. Just slightly out wide on the left-hand side, giving the ball to Hodge, and that's an easy run-in. And again, that was the first time England ventured into South Africa's half, I think, in that first half, and that's what you want from a team making the most of those opportunities. The big, strong Wasp flanker popping the ball to the Newcastle player. Like I said, Sed Bascoul, they've produced a few players over the years, and that was a tremendous start for England. This was the response from South Africa. You have Hodge initially, Horn going off the base, and then Ntole Kanya, the big tight head, scores the score and brought him back into the game, launching off the back of a scrum. Hendrikse, the scrum half, just allowing the tight head just to get in there, and that's what you want. Good communication, good power, keeping low, and England's defence couldn't keep him out. And this was a bit of a comedy of errors, really. The referee saying the ball's come off England's foot, then South Africa knocked it forward, and then you've got a good score from the loose head, Ollie Atkins. Props on the score sheet from both sides tonight. There it goes through, picks it up. You always play to what the referee says or referee blows his whistle. Ollie Atkins unlucky to score a try about 10 minutes before that when he was on the end of a move. That time he did score it, and this is the 4th try. And this is Joel Kapoko, who'd been off, comes back on. You get a 12 roaming subs in a sense, and his strength and dexterity gets that ball down. The referee on hand, and he had a pretty good all evening, making clear calls, and that was a clear grounding by the Saracens' second row. Enjoying that, celebrating already, and that was put the game out of sight. That's the 4th try. And then the 5th one to Emu, big exeter forward, and the guy that's just come on scores a good score. That is Zaha Moore Ayoni, and there you go, on hand, and that's how to make a good debut. I think this was the first time he touched the ball, so that was it. England 35, South Africa 8 is the final score at Coventry. And we'll be down with Nathan in just a moment. He's just getting his champagne ready. Hopefully it's chilled. But again, it'll be very interesting to see how England prepare and who England pick for the World Cup. 28 players. They got on the 4th of June. They've got Ireland first game up, and then the 8th of June, Italy second, and then Australia on the 12th. So 3 big games just to get into the playoff stages. And again, it's big calls from Steve Bates to select that 28. There's a lot of guys that obviously didn't feature tonight, the likes of Cameron Redpath, who was on the bench for Sale Sharks, Slytome, de Glanville, obviously, Maunder, Hardwick, Haskell Collins, who's got an injury, but I don't think it's too severe. Oliver Lawrence has got a severe injury. He won't be performing, the big forceful centre. So it's over to Steve Bates to see what he wants to do. But equally, South Africa were off a little bit tonight. They didn't perform particularly well, but they're 3 games in their pool stage. They've got Scotland on the 4th, Georgia on the 8th, who they've already beaten by over about 50 points. in a warm-up game, and then big game for them on the 12th, New Zealand in their group. That's going to be very difficult for South Africa, but there'll be a few guys coming back. There was I think there's 4 or 5 debutants tonight from South Africa that probably didn't like the conditions tonight.
Tom, congratulations, England Rugby Player of the Match. How difficult was it out there this evening?
Oh, real tough game, really physical, as the South Africans always are. Really hard to break them down throughout the game, but I don't think the scoreline really reflected how the game went. But really proud of our lads after pulling out, and credit South Africa for a game.
Particularly in that second half, you seemed to pull away, get a few structures more in place. Was the second 40 really impressive?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, at half-time we really chatted through what we need to fix up, and I think that really paid off, as you can see.
In terms of kind of debutants as well, there was, I think, 6 overall in the match day 23, but they seem to come in and fit into your structures and the way you play.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's really good for them. Really good, pushes our squad depth for the World Cup, and they're all pushing for places this summer. So yeah, really proud of them.
And in terms of obviously looking ahead, that is what this game is all about, preparing for that summer tournament. Must have been really pleasing to put 5 tries on a team that will probably up there and competing for that gold medal.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, really proud of them. I was really impressed with the lads that managed to do that sort of really tight first half. It didn't look like a big game with many tries, but luckily we managed to pull away at the end.
Tom, well played. Here is your champagne for the Player of the Match. Thank you. Well played this evening. Tom Wallace there enjoying some of the fans. That is it for our coverage here on England Rugby tonight. 5 tries for England in a 5-star performance. Really impressive work ahead of the World Rugby Under-20 Championships this summer in Argentina. Thank you for joining us on englandrugby.com, the England Rugby Facebook and England Rugby YouTube. We'll see you again next time. Have a very good evening.